Welcome to Handi Quilter's Watch and Learn. I'm Kim Sandberg, and with me is Kristina Whitney. Today, let's talk about setting up your frame to the right height, adjusting your standing or sitting position, and other tips to keep you feeling great while you're quilting. You'll notice that we're in not our normal studio, right, Kristina?
Not our filming studio, but
No.
we're in our education studio.
Exactly, and this is our happy place. This is where we work every day. We teach classes and retreats here. We thought it'd be fun to let all of you get a little taste of where we do our thing.
Yep.
Well, let's get started by talking about setting up your frame to the right height.
Okay, why would we want to set up our frame to the right height, though?
Well, number one reason is so that at the end of the day, we're not going, oh my word, I quilted all day and my back hurts and my hips hurt and everything else.
So I think our main focus for today is learning tips on how to prevent all of those aches and pains that we get from quilting.
Totally
Let's get to it.
Yeah, let's do.
Okay, so on a frame mounted machine, if I'm holding my handlebars here, I want to have my elbow at about a 90-degree angle. So for me, this machine is a little bit high.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm one of the shorter ones on our team.
Right.
And so the taller people put it up really high, and then I'm stuck, trying to reach up there. But we've got this great system.
Yes, we do.
So, Kim, why don't you show us, since you're over by the buttons?
So we have what's called the HQ high-rise system, and it is so awesome because what it does is it adjusts the height of the frame up and down. So Kristina, why don't you put your hands there, and I'm going to move it down until we get this at the right height for you.
Okay.
Wow, that is much better, but that would definitely be too short for me. So it's so great that we have this system which allows all of us here in the studio, who we're all different heights, to quilt comfortably, especially when you're quilting all day long.
Yes. One other thing, though, is, okay, for doing free motion quilting now, I'm at a good position here.
Yes, you are.
It's down low, I've got control, my shoulders can be relaxed. But if I am doing ruler work or something here, I want to be closer.
Exactly.
So I could raise that frame back up.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What do you want to have your stationary machine set at?
So with the stationary machine, we really suggest about the same thing. You want your arms to be at a 90-degree angle. So when I sit down here, you can see that the height of this table is just about right for me. And you got to remember, when you're working on the stationary machine, because you're moving things around, your arm is not always going to be at that perfect 90-degree angle, which of course is true for our frame-mounted machines. But you want it to be so that you're not hunching up your shoulders or feeling like you really have to reach. You'll get sore really fast if you do that.
Yeah. So with the frame-mounted machines, I've got this grip here.
You're right.
And again, like you were saying, the machine moves back and forth.
Right.
So my arm is being adjusted. My shoulders are pretty stationary.
Right.
I get a lot of tension in my shoulders from holding this position here.
Absolutely. So what's a good tip right there?
So right there is, we've got adjustable handlebars.
Exactly.
So some of the older machines, we have to attach on our micro handlebars, but those are an option. But these are fabulous. Look, I can loosen that up and I can adjust the handle up and down.
Depending.
I can change this other knob and move it in and out. And I can do that on both sides, and I can just put it where I want it to be. So if I were doing like micro quilting, I could move my handlebar down here, and I'd have control right where I'm quilting.
Exactly.
So that is a great feature on our machine.
It is, it is. I know that I have found, just in my regular quilting, I have the handlebars actually tilted in. I find that my wrists aren't tired at the end of the day. If I, just tilt it in a little bit like that, it really helps. And one thing I do is throughout the day, especially if I'm quilting all day long, I will periodically stop and adjust those handlebars, because that reduces the amount of just wear and tear on yourself.
Yeah, you want to change the position of that or the angle of that joint, so you're taking some of that stress off of that particular area. So little adjustments throughout the day.
Right.
Every hour or so.
Yeah.
And again, you can raise the frame up and down like an inch or so.
Right, right.
And we forgot to mention, but the high rise can adjust by 10 inches.
Right. So you can be very, very low, very, very high. If you share a machine with somebody, like we do here in the studio, it's fantastic. But even if you're somebody that quilts all day long, you're at your machine for 8 or 10 hours, to be able to do that slight adjustment every hour, it makes a huge difference. Being able to quilt all day. Stay in your happy place, right?
Yes.
So one of the nice things about the high rise is you can actually, there's 3 presets. So you can choose your presets. Let's show everybody what it looks like when Johnny quilts, because Johnny's really tall. So we're gonna hit C, which is the highest preset.
Raise it up.
So you can see how high we can set this frame at. And this is clearly too tall for either me or Kristina. However, for Johnny, it's perfect. If he is going to be doing a lot of free motion quilting, using ruler or something like that, this is really comfortable for him.
You know what, though? I actually think that this would be fun if I were doing my micro quilting, because my arms can rest right on this bar and I can stand up. Normally, when I'm doing my micro quilting, my frame is a lot lower.
Right.
So I will actually sit down.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about sitting at the frame, because people tend to call frame mounted quilting, they say it's stand-up quilting, but guess what? You don't have to stand up.
Correct. You can sit down. You just want to make sure you're in a comfortable chair that's really stable.
Right.
And I don't know if you guys can see, but my feet are swinging. I'm way above the ground here.
You are.
Normally you want to be a little bit lower so that you don't have such a hard time getting on and off of that stool for safety purposes.
Right. And I also I know that my chair at home, I am able to rest my feet on that bar that goes around it, which is nice because it helps me adjust so that I can adjust my sitting position a little bit. It's just good when you're doing this all day long.
Yeah. So a footrest is a good idea. On my machine, I've got a bunch of boxes or containers along the front that I can actually rest my feet on. So as I'm moving along with my quilting, I've got a little footrest all the way along.
Nice, nice. So I love how we all kind of customize our quilting areas.
And I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Is that everybody knows what works for them.
Exactly.
And you need to find what works for you.
Exactly.
And go with it. If you're quilting and your back is just killing you, an adjustment needs to be made then.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about when you're standing, some of the different things we can do when we're standing, because we've got some good tips for you to help you if you are going to be standing, some different ways to stand to help change your position up. So Kristina, what's one of your great suggestions?
Well, let's bring the chair over here. I get made fun of a lot for this. I can't believe I'm going to do this on film, but I do what I call the flamingo stance, where I put one leg on my chair and I quilt like this. And it just takes that pressure off.
The pressure off the one.
Yeah. And I'll adjust back and forth, side to side.
Yeah.
So that's one way.
And I was going to say, I do the same thing where I will stand and actually put one of my legs up on the bar on the bottom. So
that
I'm just
probably looks a little bit nicer.
Not quite as flexible as Kristina, but it does feel good sometimes just to take that pressure off of one leg or the other. So that's
another great thing is if you're wanting to change the height, is to just take a wide leg stance, and that will lower your body down just a little bit.
Yeah.
So if your machine can't be adjusted up and down easily, change where your body is at.
Exactly. Exactly.
So do you use a stool at that machine over there?
So
some people call them the sit-down machines.
I know some people call these sit-down machines. I actually really love that the Insight table now with the Capri it's really easy to adjust up and down. And I like to stand up. I had a friend who told me that she had discovered standing up while sewing on her domestic machine. And I thought, I should try that on the Capri. And it's great. And it gives me that option. I will actually alternately stand and sit. And once again, this table right now, as you guys can see when I put my hands here, it's a little low for me to be quilting. I would actually bump it up a couple notches. But it gives me the ability, especially when I'm doing like bigger designs where I'm doing bigger movements, I can kind of move my body with it a little bit.
And notice that the angle of your joints is different. So it's taking that strain off.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
So one thing that I want to mention to everybody is our little disclaimer.
Yeah.
Kim and I are not medical professionals.
No, we're not.
We are quilters.
Yes, we are.
So if you are having ailments, please see your local physician or a physical therapist. We are just giving ideas of what has worked for us.
Exactly.
So, again, not doctors.
Not doctors, quilters.
Yes.
We are quilters. Totally. So let's talk a little bit. Okay, so now we've got everything set at the right height.
Well, somewhat.
Well, this is still a little high, but we can maybe make an adjustment on that a
All
little
of
later.
your machines are at the right height now.
Yeah. So let's talk about some other things that we can do. So we talked about setting our machine and handlebars at the right height. Now let's talk about like taking a break.
Yes, it's very, very important to take breaks while you're quilting.
Yes, yes.
Your body, again, it needs to move. Motion is lotion. You want to keep that body moving. So take breaks.
Yep.
So here's a couple of things that you can do to remember to take those breaks.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I know about you, but I don't know about all of our quilters.
Yeah.
I get in this mode.
Yes. Oh, the zone.
It's called, yes. It's like I'm in this little bubble of quilting and nothing else exists.
Yes.
If you ask my family, cooking does not exist.
No.
And cleaning does not exist.
No, because you can't do it with your long arm.
I have my priorities straight, okay? So we need to set timers sometimes to remind ourselves, okay, you got to go pick up the kids.
Right.
Can't let that one slip.
Yeah.
On our screen here, we have got this great feature.
We have a built-in timer. Did you know that?
Yes. So if we go to our tools on our screen and click on our little button right here, those are our timers. And we can set a timer to count up, and we can also set a timer to count down.
Yep.
And that's the one that I like to use, and then it sends an alarm when my time is up, and I think, okay, I've got to take a break, I've got to go do something else.
Exactly.
Great tips for things to do when you're taking a break. Go to the bathroom.
Yes.
Rehydrate so that you can go to the bathroom on the next break.
Exactly. We do forget to drink when we're quilting, so remember to hydrate.
Yep. Walk around, get moving, and then you can come back and quilt some more.
Yeah. So one thing that I do is I like to listen to audiobooks, and I know a lot of you like to watch movies or do things like that too, or listen to music. So I will tell myself, okay, at the beginning of the next chapter, I will take a break. So that's one of the ways that I remind myself. So as long as I don't get too engrossed in the book.
And then I keep thinking, oh, please let it be a long chapter. Please let it be a long chapter.
It's so true.
I tend to start music that I know it's a set amount of time.
Exactly.
Like and CD's usually about an hour.
Right.
And then that way I know I have to stop.
Yep.
I get too into the books.
I know. Well, the chapters are what help me. It's what helps me. Let's. So what about our eyes, especially if we're doing that up close, micro, working with a ruler? What do we forget to do? We forget to blink. Exactly. Exactly. You need to stop and blink, and not only, you need to give your eyes a little bit of a rest. So you've been looking up here nice and close. Take a minute and lift your head up and look at something in the distance. Enjoy that last beautiful quilt that's hanging on the wall that you just finished. Say hi to your significant other that's across the room from you. Something. But just look, let your eyes rest, and then you can put your head back down and get lost in your quilting world.
Yeah, going along with that though, you want to do that more frequently than getting up and moving away from your machine. I would say every 15 minutes maybe at least.
Yeah.
For me personally, I can't go that long. I have to look up and give my eyes a break. Because you've got all of these lights shining so that you can see that work that you're working on. You're really focused on it. So yeah, give your eyes a break every once in a while.
Yep. Yep. So our next thing, and this is something that Kristina and I giggle about all the time in the studio, but it is so important. We need to stretch. Once again, remember that we are quilters, but we're going to show you a couple of just the few little basic things that we do. To just, when we take our break, we do a little bit of a stretch out. Yep. So nothing scary here, we promise, really basic, but this is what we like to do.
Stuff you can do at your machine, standing up. We're not going to make you get down on the floor.
No.
So let's just start at the top of our head.
Yes.
So we get a lot of strain on our neck.
Yes.
You think you're bent over like this, which is not great posture.
No.
You want to be standing up with your head right above your spine.
Right.
Okay? So a lot of times when we're on our phones, we get like this neck jutting out. Bring that neck back in. Okay, and from this position, we're going to do our yes and our no.
Yes.
So Kim, show us your yes.
Yes.
You're really good at that.
Yes. Yes.
And our no's.
And then we go, no, no, no. Then we go, I don't know.
And I'm going to add to that one. I like to drop my ear to my shoulder and go side to side, leaving my shoulders down.
So is that another way of going, I don't know.
Yep, but just with the head.
I don't know.
And yeah, that'll take a lot of that stress off.
That strain, especially in the shoulders and upper back. Because I know sometimes, especially when I'm doing a little bit of the really up close work, my shoulders tend to raise up. And do you find that they're up to your ears?
That's what we call tension
Yes.
stress.
And that's
People
when
tend to bring those shoulders up, relax them down.
Move.
Really concentrate on those.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to shoulders.
Yeah. So what else do we do for shoulders?
So I mentioned earlier, I hold my machine a lot
Yeah.
like this, and I get a lot of strain in my rotator cuff.
Right.
So I like to do exercises where I take my arms out. So I'm keeping my elbows locked in at my side and taking it out.
Oh, I can feel that right in that spot right there on your back.
Yeah, and I usually will do this with bands.
Okay.
So I'm feeling it right through my shoulder. 'Cause the shoulder's the only thing that's rotating.
Yeah.
And then with the bands, I bring it in.
In.
So you're working those
So
muscles,
you're-
and
I
you're
like
also
that.
getting some stretches.
I like that.
Okay. And then, since I've already embarrassed myself plenty already,
Why not?
I like to just shake it out.
Shake it out. So turn on some music for 30 seconds and
Yeah,
do
just
some.
Let
I like
go.
it.
Get those
I like
joints
it.
moving. Okay, let's move down. Sometimes my fingers really hurt.
I know, sometimes they do. And speaking of your fingers really hurting, that can be a real issue when you're on our stationary machines because of that pressure coming down here. So since I want to make sure that I can spend more time on my machine and not outside working in my yard, because
When it's cold.
When it's cold, because
Yes.
it's cold right now. I want to make sure that I'm spending my time quilting. I will use things like our machine gers, the sweet spots, and the Handi paddles, the Handi Quilter paddles, to put pressure on these so that I don't have to push down as hard, because that does make your fingers hurt if you're doing that for long periods of time. So there's a few good things that you can use so that those fingers don't hurt. But after I've been doing this, then how do I stretch out my fingers?
Well, while we're quilting, like on the long arm, release your grip first.
Oh, right, right.
I've even taught people where like they're white knuckling. It's like teaching a teenager to drive a car, and they're just
Totally.
like, "Arr!" I take them and have them do two fingers.
Right.
And then they have to learn to relax their hold.
Yeah.
And then they're able to move smoother. But we can do great stretches for our
Yeah.
fingers and our wrists.
Absolutely. My daughter,
do these.
who is a real artist, she makes me do this one every night because it stretches out. So we
how
do
low
that,
we can go.
Yeah, how low can we go?
Oh, that hurts.
But it feels really good at the same time. But yeah, stretching out. And then you were doing your little,
I think I have arthritis in my fingers because they're not moving as well as they should be.
but moving those fingers
Yes.
is important.
Yep.
Keeping them, like you said, motion is the body's lotion, right?
Correct, yep.
Yep.
Okay, so we've done shoulders, arms, backs.
Backs. Oh,
We
back
get
is a big
lot
thing.
of back pain.
Yeah.
One tip that I want to point out when you're quilting, especially if you have a machine that has a large throat space,
Right.
you don't want to be leaning back here, especially when the bar is so high.
Yeah, especially.
I'm like, ugh. So if you're going to be doing ruler work or micro quilting, like the first 12 inches
Yeah.
is the best place to be.
Absolutely.
So you're up there, you're close, and you're not reaching and putting that strain on your back. Remember how we talked about the head being above the spine?
Right.
My head is not above my
No,
spine,
it's
and
not.
it's just this dead weight.
There is no alignment there.
So try to keep that head up as much as you can.
Right.
And if you are having strain on your back, I like to just take my hands into fists and just put it on my lower back. Can you see right there,
Yeah.
Kim?
Yeah.
And I just back bend.
Bend. Do a back bend.
Or if you've got
That's
your
nice.
machine up super high, just lean
You can
backwards
lean back
on your
over there.
machine.
That totally works. That totally works.
So those are some tips that we have to share.
Yeah.
Take those breaks, stretch, move.
Yeah. Change your position. And most of all, have fun.
Yeah.
So thanks for
We
watching.
obviously do.
I know, we do. We are so happy that you joined us today in our happy place. Thanks for watching. Be sure to watch next week, and we'll share the tips and tools that help us in our quilting journey and hopefully inspire you too. We want to invite you to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share with your friends who are interested in quilting. And you be sure and have fun quilting this week.